Hello, I'm Richard Vobes, the Bald Explorer, and this is my Sunday chat for the 27th of December 2020. This is the last Sunday chat this year, my chance to have a little chinwag with my lovely viewers in a very sort of relaxed and informal way. And because it's the last of the year, there's probably not going to be any surprises in this. Other than a bit of a look back at some of the things that we've done. I do want to thank everybody for watching, liking, subscribing and following the videos on whichever platform it is that you do watch them. It's been wonderful. And of course, to my patrons who have made donations and regular payments to help me get out and make the videos, a very big thank you for that. I couldn't do it without you. So I've got some very vague notes on the back of an envelope, which is an envelope that had one of these delightful cards. And may I say a big thank you to everybody who sent me a card. That's really, really kind. So the last of the year this year, and a difficult year. I think we can all agree on that, can't we? By goodness, what a difficult year. And I really, really hope and pray, not that I am a religious person, but I do hope that we are able to find some sense of normality in the future, and that we don't continue with this nonsense. I personally think that we will have to find a way to live with the disease. I think there will always be various variants of the strain, and we're just going to have to get on with our lives and put the economy back on the front pedal, as it were. But in the meantime, of course, we're in a little holding pattern, which will no doubt affect not only my YouTube channel, but other people's who make YouTube channels, and as well as obviously other people's works. But we have this year achieved a few things, which I was quite surprised when I put together the look back 2020 video that was on the channel recently at some of the things that we did despite the situations. And of course I missed out many things, not least right at the beginning, just as COVID had started to shut us down and Boris put us in the first lockdown. The lovely Julia and I had actually managed to get away into Hampshire, and we had walked around one of the hangars in Hampshire. We had a whole number of places to go and have a look at, but of course we had to come back rather pronto, and a number of our bookings that we had last year or at the beginning of this year and throughout the year were cancelled, and that's been a great shame. Of course, we had 5 days in a wood planned. We were going to go to Wales. North Wales was on the cards. A number of places to go. Northumberland was one of the places we were hoping to go and do a bit more exploring. But of course, all these things had to be curtailed. Some very generous gifts had been given. One of them was a balloon ride. Jeff Kellison in America had very kindly donated a balloon trip for Julia and I to go on and video, and it was going to be very exciting. And of course COVID meant that couldn't happen, and a number of things. So that's been obviously a downer. However, on the upside, it did make me have to look at how I perform and entertain and bring my unique style to everybody. And one of those things was starting up the reading shows that we do, which started on the Bald Explorer. For those people who were furloughed and had nothing to do in the daytime, it started at 2 o'clock in the afternoon, and then it was later moved to 4 o'clock, and now has its own YouTube channel. There's only a small number of people who meet when we do it live, and I realise it's not everybody's cup of tea. But a greater number do watch them after the event, which is fantastic. And it's proved a lovely little separate community for those people who appreciate a bit of reading, a bit of live chat together. And we stop often and have lots of digressions throughout the hour that we do it during the week. So that's been a real bonus and something that probably I wouldn't have done if we hadn't been in the original lockdown situation. So that's now at Listen with Vobes. If you put that into YouTube, you'll find it. And it is basically me reading some interesting but out-of-date books, and we have a bit of a laugh with them. We managed to finish the last one, and we're just in the process now of trying to find another book to start the next one. So it's a good time to come along and join us if you so wish. Another thing, of course, that I've managed to do this year was to buy a van. And this was out of some savings and some money from my inheritance, but also it was on the back of the offer that came in, an offer I couldn't refuse on a van that was decked out in such a way that I had to take advantage of it when it was available. And I managed to make the funds available because I knew that I was selling my father's house. And that's been in the process now for 2 years. Can't believe trying to sell a house. And of course, COVID kept putting it back. And we were pretty much there. And so I figured it would be okay to release these funds because I could replace them with the money from the house. Well, that situation still hasn't happened. And there's been an absolute headache and a worry, of course. It still hasn't happened. And now we've gone into another lockdown or tier 4. And there's a threat of more lockdowns. One wonders if we'll ever sell this house and whether it'll just be a pile of rubble. It's probably being devalued every day, which is, again, just so unfair because I was hoping with whatever else was left, having paid off, obviously, with my sister and other debts that we have, to invest more in the videos that I do and bring to you more travelling and what have you. But we're in, again, still a state of limbo there. But the van has been bought and it will be utilised, and as and when one can get out and about, I will certainly do that. Now, winter, I understand that the weather is changing at the moment. We're going to have more rain and gales, so that is a problem. I'll come back to that in a moment. Some of the things that we did start trying to find things that would work during this lockdown period. We started a number of series. One of those was In Search of Sussex, in which I was following in the footsteps of Stanley Arthur Cook, who was a writer at, well, I was going to say the turn of the century, but about 1920s or 1911, actually. It was the turn of the 20th century. And I was following in his footsteps for a number of episodes. But he principally went from church to church, really. And a number of the churches we couldn't get in, and it became a bit futile in the end and was put back. But we did do many of those, and that worked really well. One of the books that we read in our Listen with Vobes, of course, was the Sussex Peep Show. And I started to follow in the footsteps of Walter Wilkinson. And we did a couple of, well, 2 or 3 of those. And we realised that this would make a lovely reenactment, perhaps 1 or 2 videos later in the spring when he did it. He did it in the spring in around 1928, something like that. Well, we could do it in 2021, maybe, if we're free to do it. And so Andrew Norris has been making puppets. Amanda has been sorting out some ideas for some lino cuts. And we just need some more help, really, making up a replica barrow that Walter Wilkinson took his Punch and Judy show, the booth. We need to make a booth and make the little barrow. So hopefully enlisting some more help on that. So if you want to get involved, do get in touch. We've got a few months yet to get that all together, and we'll make this lovely little reenactment video, which would just sort of demonstrate his lifestyle, not the whole trip, but just his lifestyle on that travelling round Sussex. An amazing story. And I do hope to be reading some more of Walter Wilkinson's work, because he was a beautiful author in terms of his poetic words. He wrote several other books. And so we have the Peep Show, which was the first one he did, where he walks into Devon. So again, that's coming up. Of course, I've started with another new series, and I've on episode 16, I think it is, with the Sussex Border Walk. That seems to be very successful and accessible, is what I was trying to say. And hopefully I can keep that going, and I want to keep that going as we go through, and hopefully one is not too restricted on going around the locality of Sussex. So watch out for more of those when the weather permits. We've resurrected some of the stories that Philip Mercer wrote in his inimitable and very odd book, Tales of Old Sussex, published in 1834. And there's going to be some more of those, possibly one for New Year's Day. I just need to find the right story for that. And I guess because of the winter weather and because of the restrictions, I am looking for something which I can do on those days when I'm stuck inside, to have a project which doesn't involve going out, but that is just as compelling and interesting and useful for the audience. And I'm trying to think of something, whether it be that I take something I'd like to learn. Now, I don't know quite what that might be. It could be trying to learn from the beginning the history of the land, going through the history of the land using old books and texts and trying to learn it and explain it. I don't know. Or taking something like architecture and trying to make it fun and interesting, or nature things. We did a bit of tree identification. So in other words, one doesn't have to travel terribly far for those videos while I'm travelling on the Sussex Border Walk. So trying to get a couple of Sussex Border Walks in a week and some other local things, because I've done so many walks locally. I don't want to keep repeating the local walks, but if our restrictions are still that we can't go very far and we can't leave the tiers, and with rain and inclement weather, just need to find another something that I can keep making to keep you entertained. You're a demanding lot, you know, so it could be that. Anyway, that's where we are at the moment. It's been an interesting year. Of course, Julia and I went out and did our second canal boat trip, which was fantastic. Yes, we had a few problems with the heating and various things, but that made it a much more interesting video. A little bit of drama there was terrific. So I hope to do another canal trip next year. I'll have to think about booking it, but again, we'll have to see how the virus situation is. Well, I hope that you've all had a great Christmas, and I hope that you have a fantastic New Year, and that you've all got something positive to look forward to, and that you're holding on to good things, and that you're not too down in the dumps with the way the situation is. And I will do my best to continue to bring a video every day on something which may pique your interest or at least amuse. That's the plan anyway. So Happy New Year, and thank you so much for watching my Sunday chat. Do leave a comment if you found it interesting. Follow, like and subscribe as ever, and I'll see you on the next video. Bye-bye.